Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Today is our third in a series of events for our virtual Oktoberfest week with Viking Cruises, and we are talking about Viking Mississippi today. If you missed any of our other presentations, our river cruise presentation or ocean cruise events that we had this week, and want to watch those, we do have the recordings posted on our webpage at magiccruises.com/events, or we can send you a link in an email. Just send us a message and we can get those to you pretty easily. And so today we're talking about Viking Mississippi, and tomorrow we at 5 o'clock we have another presentation for Viking Expeditions. So if you are interested in that, you can sign up for that on our events page as well. For those itineraries, we're going to be featuring Great Lakes itineraries, the Arctic and Antarctica. For today, just a little housekeeping, there is a Q&A feature at the bottom of the screen. If you have any questions, anything you want to address, you can post anything there. Since we have everybody muted except the speakers. So you can put any questions there. If you want to write in just a hi or anything, that's fine too. Questions, we will try to address those at the end. I'm pretty sure we'll have some time to answer some questions there. So feel free to put in any questions or comments and we'll take a look at those. There we go. There we are. So my name is Marcia Forsee, and I have been working at Magic Cruises for over 20 years now. And we're glad that you could be here today. And we wish that we could all be together, unfortunately, but we know we're trying to stay safe and healthy and distance right now. So hopefully soon that will change. So then we'll be able to get together and have meetings in our office, or as some of you know, we have some bigger presentations as well. But there we go. We wanted to introduce you to our staff. And normally you'd be hearing from Patty Cash today. She is the owner of Magic Cruises and Tours. She started the company with her mom in 1988. So that's 32 years of planning wonderful vacations for clients. We also have Shelly Franks there. You want to say hi there, Shell? She's with us today. Oh, I don't know if she can unmute. Okay, anyway, hi, Shell. And I am third there, Marcia Forsee, that's me. So just wanted to show you our faces there, put a face to a name or a voice on the phone so that you know who you're speaking with when you call in. So today, like I said, we're going to be addressing Viking Mississippi because that's something new with Viking. And one of the things that we like to do is share new things with clients, keep everybody informed about the things that are new and up and coming. There's one of our a picture of one of our presentations. We usually do have larger presentations a couple times a year with Viking, so we can talk about all the updated itineraries and things. So, you know, there's some of our group gatherings there. We had a lot of fun, drink a little bit of wine, have some tasty treats. And it's a good time for everyone. So we miss seeing everybody, but hopefully soon we'll be able to do that. And just so just wanted to highlight our next presentation again. Yeah, we already did that. Okay, sorry about that. And with us today, we do have a wonderful person that we've been working with for many years. There he is, Reiner Marks. He is our director of business development with Viking Cruises, and he is definitely a Viking expert. So we are happy to have him with us today to introduce everyone to Viking Mississippi. Uh-oh.
Well, thank you so much. I have to apologize. I have give me just 1 second to adjust something. We have a little technical issue here. I will be right back. So stay tuned. Stay on, everybody. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Hold on. I just encountered a little snafu here. My apologies. Okay, we should be in business any second now. Okay, here we go. My apologies. That is totally on me. We had a we had a little hiccup here. Again, my name is Reiner Marks. Thank you so much, Marcia.
Yep.
Here we go. I do apologize. This never happened. There's always a first time. Talking about Mississippi today. I might be an expert on Viking, not necessarily on Zoom. So here we go, talking about Mississippi and this amazing product we're putting together for 2022. So thank you for bearing with me these couple of seconds that I had to pull this up here. Mississippi will happen in 2022, 2023. So just a little time longer of wait. We've been talking about it for 5-6 years, right? You might have heard that in the news. Viking is coming, and that was in 2015, 16.
Yeah.
I saw the articles. I don't know where where that came from. We were far from actually launching, but 22 is the year that Viking comes on the Mississippi, and there will be 4 itineraries, and there will be 3 8-day itineraries and 1 longer 15-day itinerary. And I just want to show you a couple of images what's going to happen here. Heart of the Delta, further in the south. This is going to happen in the colder months, January through mid-June, and then again mid-October through November, where we go to the heart of the Delta. America's Heartland, this is where we go from St. Louis to St. Paul. Obviously, we can do that only during the warmer months. So mid-July through mid-October is when we do these sailings. And New Orleans and Southern Charms, there's also an itinerary where we stay further in the south because it's too cold to get all the way up there. And I think you up there in Ohio, you know a thing about cold weather. So you know what we're talking about. These sailings will happen during December and January. So New Orleans and Southern Charms. But today I want to talk a little bit about the long one, the 15-day tour, because it has so many ports of all the itineraries that we're doing. So you will find these ports on one or the other. But I just want to take you on a virtual journey down the Mississippi and the beautiful sights here and the beautiful culture. I will talk a little bit about food. I will talk about music, art, and everything that we're going to explore here. In a way, Viking is focusing on the culture, on the arts, and on the history of the destination. That is really the traveler who comes on Viking, right? You will not see a lot of let's say honeymooners. It's just not a typical Viking cruiser, right? It's folks in their 50s, 60s, even 70s and older. I mean, there's no age limit on top, but there is an age limit on the bottom. You have to be 18 or older to get onto Viking ships. So you will certainly not have any animators on the sun deck or around the pool deck. You will not have any pool parties and those kind of things. That's just not what Viking is doing. So today, America's Great River, those amazing ports between St. Paul and New Orleans, 15 days. We're going to have 11 included tours because every single day that we are in port, you have an included tour with Viking, and of course a number of optional tours that are absolutely fantastic. So this tour, as I said, from St. Paul to New Orleans, and the big difference is that you do not have to come in early and spend a day in a hotel. You board the ship on the day that you arrive in town. Now, this is a domestic kind of a product, right? We have no roaming charges, roaming fees. You bring your phones and you are connected with your loved ones, but you have certainly free Wi-Fi on board to use. So that is kind of a standard nowadays. And of course, certainly with Viking. So this is the itinerary as we are looking at it, all the way up from Minnesota down to the delta of the Mississippi here in the Gulf, and the ports that we're going to talk about. First, we're going to start in St. Paul as we arrive here. The Twin Cities, right? Amazing neighborhoods, diverse ethnicity, great food up here, great eateries, and of course the ridiculous, friendly, Midwestern, right? This is just legendary. I mean, it's not an act. These people are really so nice. It's unbelievable.
Hey, that's us.
Right. That's exactly right. They're just so nice. And especially when you come from LA or, anywhere else in the world, it's like, is that real? So our second day after boarding the ship headed south you are getting into Red Wing. And here in Red Wing, Minnesota, we talk about shoemaking traditions. We're probably familiar with the shoes, the Red Wing shoes, right? Those are for the civilian market. We also know those were made in World War I, World War II for the soldiers already. So there's a long history there. Learn a little bit about that. But we're going to do an exploration on into the downtown here, beautiful downtown area with lots of old buildings to see. So downtown Red Wing, gorgeous little town, all-American town, and the Eagle Center. That's why we have the eagle here. There is an Eagle Center where we learn about the habitat of this great American symbol, and learn a little bit about the bird, the eagle, and those kind of things. An afternoon excursion optional tour on Lake Pepin will take you on a paddle wheeler. A small paddle wheeler will take you out there. You have a little jazz. You have yourself a little wine and snacks and those kind of things as you are tasting some amazing foods here and admire the beautiful bluffs. Now, La Crosse in Wisconsin will be day 3. And here in La Crosse, again, so many beautiful homes that are on the National Register of Historic Places. And we're going to see many of them on our panoramic tour here to this town. So there's a lot of architectural landmarks that we're going to visit. But La Crosse has something really unique. As we're walking back from the city along the riverfront, there is like it feels like an open air museum because there's sculptures lined up on the riverfront that you can admire. It feels like an open air museum, really beautiful. So Rivertown Discovery, which takes us up onto the Grandad Bluffs, high above the city, some amazing views. There's also an optional tour that we are going to visit here or will be able to do. It's kind of like a behind the scenes tour, a privileged access tour, where we learn about the Norwegian immigration. That's kind of dear to our heart. We are a Norwegian company. And so we learn about the immigration of the Norwegians. Yeah, I'm sure you have a lot of folks from the Baltics that immigrated to Michigan, Ohio, that kind of moved even further out and came here to Wisconsin. So the Westerheim, a beautiful expo on how folks settled in the old days and made that their new home. And we're going to also visit the La Crosse Queen Steamboat. So steamboats are really something that you cannot take away from the Mississippi. They belong here. This is a tradition of the Mississippi, right? Now, as we sail to Dubuque, we're going to learn about this wonderful steamboat area and what it meant to the exploration of the Mississippi, to the economy. It was a driving force of the economy. So Dubuque has often been called the masterpiece on the Mississippi. We visit the Matthias Hem House as one of Dubuque's earliest entrepreneurs and a very, very important person of the becoming of this city. And certainly excurse into the Victorian lifestyle, this booming river town before the Civil War even. So this will be a couple of steps back in history as we go to the historic Dubuque Mississippi and River Museum and the aquarium as well. That's our included tour. We'll celebrate some local culture here, ecology and wildlife on the Mississippi. We also have the opportunity on an optional tour to go to the Frank Lloyd Wright Taliesin. So I am actually located here in Scottsdale, Arizona, where we have a Frank Lloyd Wright, not only boulevard, we have Frank Lloyd Wright Taliesin and all of that, but what we don't have is his personal residence, and that's right here in Dubuque. Who knew, right? It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site that is a historic landmark, and we have the opportunity to go in there for a behind-the-scenes tour. So it's really amazing access to Frank Lloyd Wright's Taliesin here. So that is our wonderful day in Dubuque, and there's so much more to do. I'm just touching on the highlights. As you know, there's always more optional tours in addition to the included tour that we do. Here in Quad Cities, it's all about the economy of the region, where we learn about the John Deere family, right? John Deere is a household name these days, and it's always been, right? This family has done so much for the improvement of farmers' lives, for producing machinery that really revolutionized how agriculture is done in the United States. So we're going to see the pavilion with the machinery over the years, not centuries, but over the years, that is there on display. We're going to visit the John Deere homes. So this is a local life kind of an experience. So these John Deere family homes are nothing short of amazing. You know, it's a very wealthy family, obviously. So, and it really shows in their homes. You're going to have a fantastic time. Maybe get some decorating ideas there. It is quite amazing. So the Quad Cities Botanical Gardens and Museum, the Putnam is another optional tour that we're offering here. See the Devonport's premier National History and Science Museum, the Putnam. That is being one of the optional tours here in Quad Cities. As we sail further south, we're getting into Burlington, Iowa on day 6. Now here, you know, with the arrival of the steamboats and railroads, there was relative wealth coming through the region, right? And that was showing certainly also in the buildings and the Victorian style homes. So here in Burlington, a beautiful, charming town that that we're going to visit here. We're going to stroll these streets, see some parks, peek into some museum, visit Snake Alley, which is the world's crookedest street, right? Even more so than, what is the one in San Francisco? Lombard Street, right?
Oh, yeah.
is quite crooked, but not as crooked as Snake Alley. So some great photo opportunities here. Now, what's unique, and for me, you know, I love military history, and you know, all of this that comes with it. We're also visiting Old Fort Madison, which is the oldest military garrison on the upper Mississippi. And your local guide will explain the fort's dramatic history throughout the ages. So really an incredible tour for those interested in military history. But again, if you want to stay in Burlington, there's a gorgeous little town that has, you can spend easily a day here, and there will be no boredom coming across. Hannibal, Missouri. Now, Hannibal should ring a bell, and to many of us it does, right? This is the hometown of Mark Twain, and he wrote all these amazing novels here: Huck Finn, Tom Sawyer, Becky Thatcher, Injun Joe, all these characters that we love so much from his novels. I'm a German, but I'm going to tell you, when I was like 10, 12, 14, I was reading those adventures of Huckleberry Finn over there in German. Now, for me, it's so exciting to come here to see the city, to see the lush greens. It's like you're in it, right? This is where he drew his inspiration from. So we're going to his birthplace. We're going to the home that he grew up with, where he drew all the inspiration to write these amazing novels. And this man has done it all. He was a pilot on the Mississippi. He was working in the mines. He was a journalist. What has this man not done, right? So what a life. And we're going to learn about that certainly here in Hannibal. Now, a little bigger city as we get to St. Louis. Now, here's a lot to see, right? This will be a busy, busy day. So here, of course, the included panoramic tour, the gateway to the West. St. Louis is home to an array of architectural treasures, you know, and just to name a few of them, it's not too far away from where you live, but the Cathedral Basilica of St. Louis with a 41 million piece mosaic, the Renaissance Revival City Hall, the 19th century courthouse. There's so many things that we're going to touch on, but then again, with 12 hours in port, you're going to have so much time to really take it all in, enjoy it. Now, for me, I have spent time in St. Louis, so I know what this optional tour is about, but the Anheuser-Busch Brewery is a highlight. This is a must-see, and we're going to go there. This is America's oldest brewery, so we're walking historic grounds, the holy grail of any beer lover, right? And even on the grounds of the brewery, there's 3 National Historic Landmarks that can be seen. A second optional tour, and I personally think we should combine them, but it would probably be too long, is the National Blues Museum. For me, beer and blues cannot be separated, but we kind of have to draw a line here. So you have to decide between the beer and the blues. The National Blues Museum, you know, is a very interactive museum. It's very modern, but it tells you everything about, you know, this foundation of modern American music. Pretty much every music style that we listen to today, from rock to even metal to pop, they all have their roots in the blues, right? So speaking of which, as we're sailing now down on the Mississippi, there will be 2 days not at sea, on the river, right? So we're going to cover some stretches of the Mississippi to get to our next highlight. But here there will be no boredom. I tell you, this ship is amazing. And as we get to later on, we get to some slides you will see what I'm talking about. There will be lectures on board. There will be entertainment on board. There will be, maybe grab a book, converse with folks, enjoy a cooking class, and everything in between. You will have a fantastic time. There's a walking track around where you can exercise even, so you're not stuck in your cabin. By no means. There's plenty of room for you to spread out. Now, our next day will be day 10, and here we're getting into the Queen of the South. The Memphis Blues came from here. You know, this is really an amazing city. In my research, I learned a couple of historic facts that really were interesting for me, such as that Andrew Jackson, later President of the United States, was one of the founders of the city. I had no idea, right? So, originally a center for agricultural trade and natural resources, so very, very important commercial center. But that's not the first thing that pops into people's minds when we talk about Memphis. That is, of course, Graceland, right? We're in Graceland, and we're going to visit Elvis's estate. This will be a rock and roll pilgrimage to Graceland. We'll learn about the rock memorabilia filled home of this rock icon. We're going to see his gravesite and you know, learn and pay our homage to, I think there's nobody here that who does not somewhere grew up, listened to, loved the music of Elvis. Certainly we did over in Germany, I tell you that. Big fans of Elvis, right? Where he spent some of his military time over there. And even sang some German songs. Some German songs, I don't know if you know, but he did. No worries, I'm not going to sing. So the another great tour that will depart here from Memphis is the National Civil Rights Museum. So if you have you might have been to Graceland before and may want to opt for something different. So the National Civil Rights Museum and the Mason Temple is another optional tour that we do right here. So then, you know, there's a number of, I cannot do a presentation for you and not talk about food. I mean, you know, you're going to sample some amazing food up and down this river, ashore, on the ship. You know, some of our excursions are even food centric. So we're going to talk a lot about barbecue on this amazing journey, and you will have all the different flavors, I promise you, from up, you know, from St. Paul all the way down to Louisiana. It's going to be nothing short of amazing. Another day at sea, on the river on day 11, right? Yeah. So again, as you glide by tributary rivers that join the Mississippi, the beautiful landscapes, you know, the silos, the, you know, the grasslands and the marshes on the left, on the right of the city. This ship is absolutely gorgeous. A beautiful viewing platform to enjoy all these gorgeous views. And we're going to talk about that, but there will be historic talks. There will be, you know, resident historians that give presentations, that give speeches of what you're going to see, what the history entails of this region. So again, lots of things to do even while you're on board. And on day 12, we are docking the ship in Vicksburg. Now, here in Vicksburg, we're going to get a little taste of Dixie, right? And you won't absolutely be disappointed. We'll taste some tasty local tamales, some fresh seafood, and some Southern barbecue, the true soul food. That's where it comes from, right? And, you know, there's a wide variety of amazing eateries. If you stroll off and wander off, you will probably see many of them. It is absolutely amazing, right? But here in Vicksburg is another stop that we are offering on our included tour, and that is the Vicksburg National Military Park. Now, Abraham Lincoln said about this battle, which he called before it happened already, that this is likely to be the most pivotal battle of the Civil War. He called it the key to the South, and the man was right? After the Battle of Vicksburg, the Confederates surrendered to Ulysses S. Grant, and that was pretty much the end of the Civil War. Vicksburg was a decisive battle in this long-lasting conflict. And to tell you the truth, when you, it's one thing to read about it in history books or to see a documentary about it, but when you stand on the battlegrounds, you're overlooking the fields. You kind of can imagine the troop movements and the suffering and the, you know, the hardship that these young men went through is absolutely incredible. So I highly encourage you to choose this, to join this tour. It is really wonderful. There's certainly to do on my to-do list for my kids. They're a little young still, but we're going to take them. Vicksburg is on my to-do list. I'm definitely going to do that when the time comes that they're a little bit older. Excuse me. Now, also moored here on the banks of the Mississippi is the USS Cairo, which is an ironclad boat. Back in the days, at the back end of the Civil War, there were ships. Those ironclad gunboats were kind of decisive, right? This is the first time that these new types of ships were thrown into a conflict, and they were actually in many battles they were decisive and changed shipbuilding in the South for good, right? So one of the last remaining ones, USS Cairo, can be seen here in Vicksburg. Now, on a lighter note, this is where it comes from. Some amazing food, right? The chopped pork sandwich is believed to come from this area, and slow cooking cuts of meat. This is something that came in the 19th century. Before that, slow cooking was not really a thing. People wouldn't take a lot of time to make their meals. It was just, work, quick break. And slow cooking and those kind of preparations that take a little longer time came later. So by the 19th century, they slowly progressed more and more. And certainly those chopped pork sandwiches or pulled pork sandwiches is a typical representative of this new style of cooking, if I may say it. So Mississippi mud pie. Now we're right. If I know Marcia, she has a bit of a sweet tooth, but the decadence of this pie is absolutely incredible, right? Chicory coffee ice cream, fudge brownie cake, Oreo crust. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. And candied pecans, which also in the late 19th century came to use in desserts. Before that, they weren't used for desserts. This was a snack that kind of was picked up, but it made its way into the culinary world in the late 19th century as well. And many of these recipes you will find in a book that I think we're going to give away today. I believe, I hope.
Yes, we will.
So the small town of Natchez is our next stop here on day 13. And Natchez is a perfect location, small town America, with 500 historic buildings, more than 200 perfectly preserved homes that still grace those broad avenues here in Natchez. So there's more than 1,000 structures in this small town that are listed on the National Register of Historic Places. So this is really a beautiful town to stroll, to explore. So you have your local guides and they will take you on tours, but I encourage you just to wander the city. It's so much fun, so beautiful. The sites here are absolutely gorgeous. There is an optional tour besides the city walk and the explanations of the local guides, and that is called the Historic Homes and Chef Hosted Lunch. Now here we'll learn how to cook these meals. So we're first going to go in the city, we do the city walk, and then we're going to have a visit at restaurant 1818. That's a famous restaurant in town. And we're going to do some lunch there, and we're going to sample some classic Southern cocktails. So that is another thing we need to learn about. Very important, the drinks, right? So fried tomatoes, green fried tomatoes, molasses pecan pie. There is so many amazing dishes that you will come across. I just want to sprinkle them in to break it up a little bit. But here we are. Welcome to Baton Rouge. And Baton Rouge is all about the Cajun culture, right? On the banks of the Mississippi, you have this panoramic city, and we tour the area. Those are hardworking people, fun-loving people. The Cajun people and their contributions to Louisiana's history is what our Cajun cultural tour will be all about, with music, with folk tales, and of course some Cajun cuisine, authentic Cajun cuisine. Baton Rouge panoramic tour is focusing on the most important sites, again curated by Viking for you. We're going to visit the new and the old state capitals, the old governor's mansions, and so much more. I mentioned the ironclad boat earlier in Vicksburg. Here we have the USS Kidd, which is a Fletcher-class destroyer in its configuration of World War II, one of the last remaining. It's really an impressive ship in this configuration. It's moored here on the banks of the Mississippi for visitors. Absolutely beautiful. Now, there is one dish we haven't, well, there's many dishes we haven't talked about much, but this one I want to bring up. So the jambalaya is just a must talk about, right? So a little bit spice here from the sausages that come with the andouille sausage, and it's this blend, this beautiful blend. A couple of days ago, I did a webinar on Andalusian cuisine. So the similarities between the paella and the jambalaya are undeniable. So you have seafood, you have meats, you have rice. So this is a nice parallel. And actually, somebody told me that the jambalaya is believed to have derived from the paella, from the Spanish paella. But who knows? It's delicious, and I'm going with that, right? There's so much amazing food. The crawfish etouffee. I don't know if you know that, but etouffees are kind of all over the place. And etouffee means, well, if you literally translate it, it means drowned in. So drowned in cream sauce, smothered in cream sauce, or any etouffee. If you like the heartier dishes in life, go with the etouffees. The seafood gumbos, right? Or the po' boys on the street corners. Those are absolutely amazing. So you have your etouffees. It is a Creole sauce, certainly has that spice to it. It's absolutely addictive, I'm telling you. So here we are on our last day, arriving in New Orleans. We're going to explore, we'll learn about French, African history, influences in this history, a vibrant culture, and also the tantalizing Creole cuisine, and so many more dishes. We all probably heard about the beignets, right? Those crispy pancakes. If you don't walk away from this session and you are hungry, then I don't know. Then I don't know. I must have done something wrong. Oysters are being offered here. So they're grilled with seasoned butter with a little squeeze of lemon here. Oh, I'm telling you, this is a absolutely fantastic tour. Not only from a historic standpoint, you will rediscover the United States in a way you haven't you probably haven't done it that way yet. Plus, you're covering quite some ground here, from all the way up from St. Paul. You're covering a lot of states, and there's a rich culture that we uncover that many of us may not be familiar with. So the last day, it means saying farewell to your beautiful Mississippi ship. Whether you booked your flight back home from New Orleans or you spent some extra time, Marcia, Patty, and Shelly, and all of the team, they will be able to help you with your pre or your post programming, with your connections, with your touring. They are the experts. They have all the contacts. If you want to use some of the offerings that Viking has, book it through them. They have all the access there. It's one-stop shop, from 2 days in the Big Easy to Arcadian Lafayette. There's so much more. You may have different interests, and that's exactly the reason why you should book to a travel agent, because they can really make that an incredible experience for NOLA's best 3 nights, or the New Orleans Discovery if you just want to spend one quick night to dive into Bourbon Street and then head back home. That is also possible. Now let's talk about this great ship. Look at her. A brand new ship, certainly not a long ship as we have them in Europe. These are larger, these have more decks, and certainly more space to spread out. Now, if you followed our presentations on oceans, you will find similarities, right? From the restaurants to the public areas. Open, airy, contemporary. You can spread out. This is an open kitchen concept where there's no assigned seating. It's open seating. You go grab a table, any table that you like. It's casual. So no formal nights whatsoever, just like Viking has always been, right? There is a number of new areas on the ship that we don't have in Europe, such as these beautiful living rooms that are, areas to mingle, to meet people, to interact, to play a game, read a book, and enjoy, unwind, have a nice conversation. So these are really new kind of ship that hasn't been there before. The concepts are familiar. So if you sailed with Viking before, you will recognize the ceiling to floor windows to have this great view into the destination. Similar furniture. This is Scandinavian design with very, very bright and airy and open. Now, as we can spread out on this ship, There is multiple dining venues, such as the main dining room, the River Cafe, the Aquavit Terrace, which add combined River Cafe and Aquavit Terrace, add another 150 seats to it, right? So you have 380 guests on board, and you know, there is more space for seating than we have guests on board. So just to say it that way, you will have nowhere, you will have lines, no way you will wait long for you, because it spreads out, right? People will decide at different times a day they will eat in different restaurants. It will be a very, very easygoing and lovely flow through the meal seatings. And there, as I said, casual fine dining. Here you're looking at the River Cafe, which is indoors, kind of indoor outdoor, because those shutters can be opened or closed as you wish. You know, the River Cafe opens then at the back up into the Aquavit Terrace. And remember that barbecue that I showed you, that slab of ribs there? Here at the Aquavit Terrace, this is your venue for barbecue. This is where our chefs will go to town on everything barbecue. They will try recipes from the very north to the very south, from dry rubs to marinades to all kinds of spices, different woods they're going to use to make barbecues here. You're going to get a great idea what the local offerings in barbecue are. You know, honestly, I'm a little jealous of these chefs and the tools they have to cook there. This is really an incredible and creative kind of a way to add more flavor to it. So barbecue here, in other restaurants, you have different offerings. But if you're a fan of barbecue, this is your spot on the ship. So behind that, it opens up into the sun deck, and back there, there's also a plunge pool. But before we get there, let me show you this area here. This is panoramic views in the Explorers Lounge. Beautiful two-story lounge that is kind of adapted from Viking Oceans, right? So Viking Oceans has these, folks enjoy the gorgeous views, right? From down here, the gorgeous views into the Delta. This is also a wonderful venue at night, maybe for a little nightcap, to do some stargazing up here. And if you can see on that divider, halfway through this huge window front, you see star constellations projected there that are typical for that area that can be seen here in the Mississippi Delta. So it's absolutely beautiful, right? Little nightcap, little conversation, little cocktail. Yes, please sign me up. Here in the back of the ship, we have the plunge pool, and it stretches across the entire width of the ship, right? So you have sun chairs, full service area here as well, and you have, of course, your beautiful plunge pools. Now, don't expect any parties and you know, those kind of things here. It's grown-ups on a vacation. It's adults that, you know, enjoy a serene sailing. I don't expect any rowdy business back here because we're all adults, right? Now, in the front of the ship, right below the captain's bridge, you have another great venue, which is called the bow. Very original, right? The bow, where you have a beautiful lounge, outside seating lounge, and a running track. It's a running/walking track, 360 degrees, that you can use here to do some exercise as we sail. I mentioned that we do 2 days on the river that we sail, but gorgeous views up here to unwind and relax when the weather permits it. So let me walk you quickly through the cabins, give you a little virtual tour. Some of these cabins are new to our folio, right? The French balcony concept is well known to us, but the layout is different. So French balcony means technically you have a sliding door that opens up to a railing, right? So you cannot walk out, but you can open that sliding door. So you have the fresh air, you have the beautiful view here. Now, the great news is that some of these cabins are ADA accessible. So if you have friends or family that always shied away from a river cruise, maybe because of ADA accessibility, talk to them, invite them to sit with you, to meet with Marcia. They can access these ships, the elevators. They are fully accessible to Americans with disabilities. You have these beautiful veranda and deluxe veranda cabins that are completely adapted from Viking Oceans. These are the very same cabin layouts that we have on our ocean ships with a gorgeous veranda. So again, there's not a single inside cabin on our ships anywhere. We do not believe in inside cabins. Every cabin is double occupancy, 2 people to a cabin, and has at least a window. These ones even feature verandas that are absolutely beautiful. We're getting a little larger with the penthouses, 324 square feet here with a nice seating area so we can spread a little further out, right? As life is normally, you pay a little more, you get a little more, right? This is how this works. So penthouse junior suites, 400 square feet now. You have these even larger seating areas. All the beds that we are talking on Viking Mississippi and on any other Viking ship are king size beds. So there's no smaller bed than king size beds available. A brand new cabin category that we never had is the terrace suite, where you have 2 flat panel TVs in each direction. So you can enjoy TV programming or the navigation system or the news. You're not missing a beat here. And look at this veranda there in the back. Isn't that something? Wow, right? So bedroom, living room in this gorgeous terrace suite. And then top of the line, as anywhere on Viking, the Explorer suites, between 660 and 1,000 and something square feet. But these cabins are really the best we have to offer when our architects put their best foot forward. And it's contemporary furniture. It's home. It feels warm, you know, and it's bright and airy. You have a beautiful veranda adjacent to it. And the reason why they vary is because we have them on every single deck in different locations. So that makes the different layouts for those. Talk to your travel advisor here at Magic Cruises. They know their way around it. And Marcia, I have come to the end of my little chat here on what I wanted to relay without major hiccups. So the major one, I'm sorry for that.
Okay, thanks, Reiner. So I just wanted to briefly talk a little bit about some of the offers that are going on right now. On the Viking Mississippi, when Viking announced that they were going to be joining the rivers in US and doing Viking Mississippi, it was very popular. And so it's a very hot commodity. They just have the one vessel right now. So if you're interested, it's a good time, even though it's for 22 or 23. Now's the time to make your reservation so that you can get your space. But they do still have some offers, some discounts, some specials on air, that type of thing. So that is still available. The itineraries, we would definitely want to check availability for you depending on when you want to try and go, just to make sure that the space is available. So just keep that in mind if you're thinking seriously about this one. Again, now's the time so that you can get your space reserved before it is sold out. I know that some dates are already sold out for 2022, so just want to make sure you know that. And the other things that are out there and available to keep in mind is Viking currently does have their risk-free guarantee. And so what they've decided to offer right now during this kind of uncertain times is just some peace of mind and some flexibility. So when you have your reservation, you can make a change to your reservation, change the travel dates. If your plans change, you can change your travel date up to 24 hours prior to your departure and get a future cruise voucher for the full amount, and just use that within 2 years. So maximum flexibility on that. And this is something that's automatically included when you make your reservations right now before the end of the month. So that's something that Viking has decided they're going to include for everyone's reservations when you make your reservations right now. So just want to make sure that you are aware that that's something that's available. And then also from Magic Cruises, we always want to have a special offer for attending. Any reservations that are made by the end of the month, we're offering some onboard credits, and $200 per cabin onboard credits, and also $200 extra savings. So just wanted to be able to offer a special promotion for you for making reservations by the end of the month. If you're ready to jump in and start making some plans for the future, now is a good time to do so. So let's just see. I just want to see if we have any questions. Any questions, please post them. If you don't have any questions, that's fine. But any questions, we can go ahead and address those now. Anything? Hi. Okay. I think you covered it all, Reiner.
I think I talked so much that everybody is scared to ask questions.
But we do have a couple of prizes to give away. And so this is the cookbook that Reiner was referring to. So this is full of recipes from Viking. So it might be from all the destinations that they go to around the world, recipes that they use on board. So then you could make them at home. So we're going to do a quiz today. So I want to make sure that the question and answer box works because we're going to have a little ask a question, and then we would like you to post your answer. Just type it in the question and answer box. You just need to click on that Q&A, and then you can type in your answer. Okay. So what question do we have first, Reiner?
Okay, let's ask this one first. We talked about, these Mississippi sailings, and Marcia just mentioned it again. So we're going to make it easy for you. Then what we're looking for is a number, is a year. And we want to know from you, what year can you start sailing on the Mississippi on Viking? Type your answer as quickly as possible. The first one to do it, there you go. We got the first one, and it's wrong.
Nope.
Try again. You can try multiple.
You can type again. Yeah.
Yep, that's okay. So what is the first year?
There we go.
There you go.
So Viking Mississippi is starting in 2022. Right. So that's great. So yeah, 2021, it's not starting yet. They're still going to be building the vessel.
Yes.
So 2022.
And it's coming along nicely.
Good. So Celeste is the winner. So I will send this out to you, Celeste. Okay. And then we do have a gift card to give away too. So make sure you're at the ready on your keyboard. What's our next question, Reiner?
We wanted to make it a little harder than the one we initially discussed, or shall we ask that one?
No, I think we can go with that.
Oh, well, let's go. Okay. We want to know from you, who's the owner of Magic Cruises?
First name, last name.
First name, last name, a combination of both, or symbols will work. There you go.
She always says she's related to Johnny.
That's right.
We get it?
Well, we have one answer. It's the right answer.
Okay.
Anyone else? Okay, I think that'll be it. So Select's the answer. So Patty Cash is the owner, and Select got it right. So great. Well, I'm going to close this here. Well, thanks for attending today, everybody. And thanks, Reiner, for being here and sharing all this wonderful information. Remember, folks, if you do want to learn about Viking Expeditions, which is another brand new product with Viking, we're going to have another presentation tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So we hope you can join us then. Thanks, everybody.
Tell your friends, it's going to be amazing. You're going to be amazed to see what these ships can do.
Yep.
It is an amazing product. So yeah, tell anybody else.
Oh, wait, there's, oh no, I thought there was more questions. No, we're good. Okay,
Thanks,
everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.